The Ableton Move has insane entry-level value. Let's talk about it as soon as I shout out today's patron. And that patron shout out goes to Andrew McKenzie. Thank you so very much for the support. Let's get started. So the Ableton Move has been out for almost 2 years now. And here in 2026, I kind of wanted to circle back to it and look at it from the perspective of a beginner, because I still think that it is probably the overall best first purchase that someone trying to get into electronic music as a whole and production as a whole can make. This video is going to be looking at the Move from the perspective of someone who has no gear or software as of yet, but wants to get into electronic music and electronic music production. I think the Ableton Move is the single-handed best purchase that person can make. So price-wise, the Move comes in at $499 US. The price did go up $50 last year. I bought mine back in 2024 when it launched for $449. Just due to rising costs globally, the price did go up to $499 US, but I still think it is a crazy good deal for what you get. Now remember, we're looking at this from the perspective of someone who has nothing. So what does that $499 US get you? Well, first, it gets you a standalone device that, thanks to numerous updates over the past year and a half, has really grown into quite the fleshed out piece of kit. Did you know that you can have your music featured in my upcoming free live stream concert, Freebeat Live 2026? It's super easy. Either watch the video linked in the description below or simply read the instructions listed there as well. Everyone who submits a qualifying entry will be featured, so be sure to check out Freebeat Live 2026, coming Friday, August 21st at 7 p.m. Pacific, and Saturday, August 22nd at 11 a.m. Pacific for live music, giveaways, and more. Hope to see you there. The foundation of the Move has stayed the same, so you still get 4 tracks, and it can randomly assign you presets to those tracks if you want, or you can dial in, the specific ones that you want to use. Still offers super easy ways to get beats and sequences programmed in. You can just play and then use MIDI capture. That was cheesy. It still offers super easy ways to change your scale and key and control how the pads actually play. So like right there, I don't like that lead that it gave me, so I can just go in and pick something else. And I've got different categories here: synth keys, synth leads. Let's go synth lead. And we'll take one of my favorites here, game console. Easy shortcuts to control things like volume. Just noodling at this point. I will get completely off topic if I don't get back to talking. You get effects, as you saw there, so a whole bunch of different effects. I've got Redux selected right there, but I mean, you get literally auto filter, auto pan, auto shift, which is their pitch correction. EQ, chorus, delay, dynamic effect, erosion, phaser, flanger, reverb, there's so much in here. So you get all that. You also now, thanks to the updates, get the full drift synth engine, which is pretty cool. I mean, you have like the full control for the oscillators, oscillator modulation, banks, everything. It's all here. But again, if you're a complete beginner coming from nothing, you're going to get so much more for your money, because this also comes with a copy of Ableton Live Intro. Now, even if you don't want to use a DAW, at some point you're probably at least going to want to have one, just for the random off chance you need to export something or make a super fine adjustment, or the cases for having a DAW are pretty much endless, and sooner or later you're going to want to have at least something, even if you use it like once a year. And this comes with Ableton Live Intro, which is actually an upgrade from the free Ableton Live Lite. Ableton Live Intro on its own typically sells for about $100. And I believe the main difference from Ableton Live Lite to Ableton Live Intro is that Intro gives you 16 tracks to work with instead of 8. And in my opinion, 16 is actually a pretty workable number. I mean, I know we can go down and argue like 4 tracks is all you need, but in electronic music, people are going to want more tracks than that, and a lot of times 8 isn't even enough. So 16, I feel, is a really reasonable amount for the version of Ableton Live that you get. So right there, that's an extra $100 in value. However, the Move is also an incredibly well-integrated Ableton Live controller. You can actually insert notes into the sequencer, just like you do on the device itself. And they will just show up within Ableton Sequencer. It's really cool. You also get full integration with your encoders up here, jumping around between tracks, clip launching view. It all works in Ableton Live, and it's really, really well done. If you were to pay for this functionality in a separate controller, I believe the Novation launch keys, the latest ones, are the only ones that actually come close to this functionality, so you're probably looking at least another $100 there. Now, granted, you will probably eventually want to add a keyboard controller, but just for getting started, you've got quite a lot that you can do with just the pads. They are velocity sensitive, and they do support aftertouch as well. But it doesn't stop there, because the Ableton Move also functions as an audio interface. Again, we're coming at this from the perspective of someone who has nothing. So the Move is also going to double as your audio interface. It's going to plug in via USB Type-C right here to your computer. That's also how it's going to act as a MIDI controller, by the way. And you've got a stereo audio in right here and a stereo audio out. So 2 in, 2 out audio interface. And it can still function as a MIDI controller while it's functioning as your audio interface. So all you really need is your computer, an Ableton Move, and a pair of headphones, and you've got a full production station right there. It also has an internal microphone, which isn't the best, but you can use it to record scratch vocals or things of that sort, whether you're using it on its own or as your audio interface with your computer. Speaking of scratch vocals and scratch takes, I think that's really where the Move shines, because of how well and how easy you can switch your projects from the Move itself to Ableton Live. So for instance, I could take this project right here, which isn't anything special, but I could then go to move.local on my computer, find the set file, which is 214, double click on it, drag it into Ableton Live, and then all of a sudden I'm working on it on my computer. Also, side note, you do not need Wi-Fi to do this. You can also do it via a hardwired connection. A lot of people don't realize that, but yes, it will work hardwired as well. You still need to use your browser, but you do not need Wi-Fi or any sort of internet connection at all. Also, before I forget to mention it, an audio interface, at least a decent one, is going to start at around $100. So if you look at it, for your $499, you're getting a standalone groove box that has full access to Ableton's Drift Synth, as well as a pretty cool sampler, drum sampler, a whole bunch of effects. It's got audio tracks now. There's so much you can do with the Ableton Move just on its own. You're also getting a great entry DAW with Ableton Live Intro, which who knows, maybe you never need to actually upgrade it. You're also getting a fantastic Ableton Live MIDI controller, one that has the ability to sequence directly into the Ableton Live sequencer, which is a feature that not many devices have. You're also getting an audio interface, complete with a built-in microphone, and you're also getting a 2-in, 2-out audio interface with a built-in microphone. All of that for $499 US seems like a pretty darn good deal to me, and it's why I think that the Ableton Move is still the best starting point for someone getting into electronic music or music production as a whole. And obviously who is interested in the Ableton ecosystem, although the Move is getting to the point where that's almost a bonus. Just the standalone device on its own. I know it kind of goes against what I've been saying about the Move for the past couple of years, but it's almost to the point where it just is worth it on its own without any consideration to the Ableton Live ecosystem. Also, I should note that there are a bunch of other things you can do with the Move now, thanks to the, I want to say like Rainbow. I'm not really like up to speed on it, but basically it's like official hacks for the Ableton Move. Again, I haven't really looked into it that much. Maybe I should. But yeah, there's some incredible stuff out there. Now, you'll notice I've pushed the Move up to the top of the frame here. That's because I want to showcase one more thing. So I'm going to bring my original Arturia keystep into frame. And that's to showcase the fact that the Ableton Move is also a USB MIDI host. So it can work with a USB keyboard controller just like this, just simply plugging it into the USB-A port in the back there. And now, as you can see, we're just soloing, and it'll even record this into the sequencer. There we go. And you even have the option to go in and quantize, set groove, there's an arpeggiator, there's lots of stuff you can do once you've recorded it. But yeah, the Ableton Move on its own is a pretty killer piece of gear, and then just any old USB MIDI controller can plug right into it too. So you could even go with something used. Super cheap, throw it in there. I know this whole video has just been talking about the $499 that the Ableton Move goes for, but you could literally go with the Ableton Move, a pair of Audio-Technica headphones, and a cheap MIDI keyboard controller for less than $600 US total, and that could just be your entire setup. Like, that's it, you're done. Just go make music with that. So I do know that there's people out there who are going to disagree with me, and that's totally okay, but I still think that for the money, the Ableton Move is pretty much the best purchase someone can make who's looking to get into music production and has no gear whatsoever. It's going to give you so many of the essential tools. It's going to give you the standalone piece of gear. It's going to give you the MIDI controller. It's going to give you the audio interface. Those are three huge ones. And then there's so many other little details and little extra quality of life things that they throw in and that they will probably continue to throw in as the firmware gets updated over time. It's just a no-brainer, I think, if you're looking for a true entry point into the world of electronic music through Ableton. Just get the Move. That's my recommendation. I do hope you found this video informative or at least entertaining. If you did, be sure to leave a like on it. If not, you can always leave a dislike. That's okay too. Doesn't hurt my feelings, just makes me try that much harder next time. Either way, be sure to hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. Thank you all so very much for being here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.